Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. And that's going to be AEW Dynamite and WWE SmackDown. Two very interesting yet different shows that was definitely entertaining, a little bit weird on the SmackDown side. I'll get into that in a little bit. But we're going to start off with AEW Dynamite. And we start off kind of interestingly with an ambulance arriving to the arena. Who comes out the back? It's Adam Copeland, aka Edge. And says right to the camera, hey Death Riders, here's your ride for tonight. Basically, issuing a warning to the Death Riders that he's continuing his mission to take them out. Then we get an MJF promo, which was very weird. It wasn't in the ring. He was on a table. Initially, I thought he was on like a massage table, which would be very in character for MJF. However, it's revealed he's getting his I'm with AEW tattoo removed, which usually it's not that immediate, but I get the symbolism. So basically, he says, re-signing here was the biggest mistake of my life. Hangman, you overanalyzed my craft. I've been giving an arm and a leg to this business, and you're part of the spoiled generation. There's only 3 letters I truly care about, and it's not AEW, it's MJF. So, very clear to the point. And, at that point, we see MJF's AEW tattoo being removed, either removed or covered up. I'm not 100% sure. Then we see a truck arrive to the arena, right next to Adam Copeland's ambulance. Who gets out of the front seat? It's Hangman Adam Page, and he makes a beeline to the ring. Doesn't even change into his ring gear. He's in his street clothes for his match against Aaron Solo. It's pretty much all Hangman Page, and wins with the buckshot lariat, which is my favorite move of all time now. So then, Hangman Adam Page grabs a steel chair and then a microphone. He sets up the chair, sits down in the ring, says in the mic, there's 3 things I hate. Running out of biscuits, overgrown ivy on my gates, and a little bitch spitting in my face. Talking about MJF. So I'm not going to be leaving here until someone goes in the back, finds me MJF. So then MJF comes out. He's dressed to the nines. Pretty much says, Hangman, you want to fight me right here, right now, tonight? Are you nuts? I'm not fighting you right now. Don't know if I have a prayer at Revolution, but I'm going to get going. I'm going to get ready for my match. But before I go, I know you are worried about your friend Daniels. Why don't you go check on it and find out who's actually real? And at that point, we see Christopher Daniels. He's been laid out backstage, gushing blood. Oh, and before I forget, MJF actually comes out with a towel covered in blood, which is something he actually did against CM Punk in their rivalry. So this is kind of playing that up, which is very, very cool. So MJF then leaves. Hangman is in hot pursuit. He's got the chair with him. He tries to find MJF. Apparently he left. Then he goes to the area where Danielson's laid out, and he helps him up and gets him a doctor. So, yeah, definitely a very interesting way to open Dynamite. Definitely felt a little different than the usual formula Dynamite gives us, which I am more than fine with. But then it gets a little weirder. Then we see Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher. They're up in the, sitting in some suites, getting ready for our first matchup. Then we get a Collision recap, which is very... I'm glad Dynamite is now giving results and highlights from Collision. That's very, very cool. Then we get a Chris Jericho backstage interview, where he says, I know what you're doing, Renee, but I know you're really here to apologize to me. Then before anything else, we see Don Callis and Mark Davis leaving Chris Jericho's locker room. With Callis revealing, look, we clearly have problems with Ospreay. We need someone to handle him. Jericho then reveals, it's cool. I choose to actually help people. That's why I'm going to send you my bounty hunter, Brian Keith. Because I know he has what it takes to beat Will Ospreay. We then go to our first match. Yes, Dynamite starting with a bunch of segments, which honestly set up a lot of stuff for the rest of the night, which very different from what I've seen from Dynamite, and that's more than okay. So first match, we see Will Ospreay taking on the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. And how do I know he's a bounty hunter? He has his serape and his big, am I using the words right? Serape? Basically, I don't even know how to describe it. He has his bounty hunter cap on, and they go right to work. Like, this match was absolutely awesome. These two had absolutely great chemistry together. One point we see Ospreay hit the Tiger Driver, only for a 2. Ospreay goes for it again. That gets blocked. Couple of headbutts. Brian Keith attempts a roll-up, but Ospreay rolls it through, hitting a Styles Clash right into the Hidden Blade to pick up the win. And as Ospreay's celebrating, he sees where Callis and Fletcher are. They're kind of motioning back and forth like, come on, bring it. Ospreay then jumps out of the ring, jumps over the barricade, and goes up to the section where Fletcher is, and they just brawl. They brawl in the crowd, on the steps. Eventually, security does break them up, which is, I'm always game for a good pull-apart brawl. And with that cage match coming up for Revolution, easy way to build up the animosity between these two. Then we get a recap of Dynamite Grand Slam, where Toni Storm beat Mariah May for the women's title. Then we get a kind of Mariah May promo. I'm not even sure how to really describe this. Where it's revealed Toni Storm is kept home. Then we get a nice Revolution hype video, which was very, very good. Then we get a Momo Watanabe vignette. We'll get to her in a second. But first, we get a Mercedes Moné backstage promo. She's in the back. She's celebrating her win. Gonna make things quick. I'm still your CEO. I'm still your champion. Then someone who I initially didn't recognize walks up. Then I'm like, oh, that's Billy Starks. I haven't seen her in a while. So Moné's like, alright, you show up here now. What do you want? Then Starks is like, if you see Momo, tell him who you think you are. Then Moné says, I'm the CEO, and lists her accomplishments. Billy then replies, you forgot one. You're a narcissistic bitch that needs to watch her back. At that point, Momo Watanabe comes from slides in behind Moné, and she's wielding a kendo stick. Moné then turns around, sees Momo, and just runs away. Then Momo says, Moné, see you at Revolution. That was a heck of an interesting and different type of promo from Moné. And it shows a bit of a vulnerable side, which is very cool. Then we get to the funniest part of the night, where we see the Outrunners on ESPN hyping up a college football team, basketball team, which is honestly the most hilarious thing ever, including them elbow dropping a garbage can, which is, the Outrunners are national treasures, and they need to be protected at all times. Then we get back in the ring as we have tag team action players as Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd take on the Murder Machines. That is Lance Archer and Brian Cage of the Don Callis family. And at first, the Outrunners do outpace the Murder Machines because they're smaller and can move around a little bit. Eventually, Archer and Cage do overpower the Outrunners. But as Lance Archer is about to hit the blackout, the Hurt Syndicate's music hits. Then Truth Magnum hits Lance Archer with the roll-up to pick up the win. And as the Outrunners are celebrating on the ramp, we see the Hurt Syndicate come out, and they kind of jaw at one another for a little bit. So, yeah, that's definitely very interesting. I would like to see the Murder Machines get a tag title shot, but I'm more than happy the Outrunners are getting the spotlight. Then we see a hype video for Jon Moxley versus Adam Copeland, with Copeland taking out the Death Riders. Then we got a Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland vignette, in which that was, again, these vignettes and hype videos AEW doing, they're very well produced. They are so good. And then we get a Swerve Strickland promo. Everyone's chanting, whose house? Swerve's house, which is, I love how they're treating Swerve. He'll get that title back, don't you worry. So then, Swerve reveals, I came here to AEW to win some gold. And here we're wrapping up Black History Month. And I'm here in AEW. I made Black History. Night in, night out, I showcase the world title until All In. And Nana, 2 weeks ago, the title hasn't been the focus. Still, I need some gold. There's some wrongs I have to right, including against Ricochet. Ricochet, you say we're done. We're done when I say. And at that point, Ricochet comes out. He's still wearing Prince Nana's robe. Ricochet then says, "Come on, are you dumb? I told you, I am done with you. I won. Winners don't chase losers. I'm chasing gold now. I'm chasing something you'll never be again, and that's world champion. I'm not facing you again, Swerve. And the next time you'll see me is with some gold." And as Ricochet's about to leave, Swerve says, "Listen, I have an offer for you. These fans obviously deserve a rematch, so just accept it. And I talked to Tony Khan. When we have this match, whoever wins will be the number one contender to the AEW World title." And you can see, boop, Ricochet's ears perk up a little bit. He turns around. And says, "Damn it. I give you credit. That's a good one. So all I gotta do is beat Swerve, and then I'm on my way to AEW champion. You're on. But we're not doing this here tonight. We're gonna have this match at Revolution." Ricochet then leaves. Swerve goes to get out of the ring. Prince Nana then puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Swerve, boss, before you go, I just want to say something. I am proud of you. You're taking steps to get back to the AEW World title and go back to being who the fans say you are, being who you say you are. And Swerve, I took a lot of bullets for you, but Ricochet is still walking around in my legacy. I need you to fix my legacy, because I don't know if I can do this anymore." And then Nana just leaves. Oh, that's a pretty big revelation, man. I'm thinking more than likely we're going to see Nana, swerve. That's funny. I didn't even realize. And then join with Ricochet. I feel like that's what we're going to be getting soon. Maybe as soon as Revolution. So then Renee Paquette is in the back. She's trying to get Hangman Adam Page. He's looking around for MJF. When he finally stops, says, "MJF is gone. So MJF, when I find you, if I don't run you over, you're going to wish I had." So nice, simple, to the point. And then now we have a kind of weird matchup that, while I do like all the players here, it didn't really work for me. I don't know what it was. So we have the Undisputed Kingdom, so that's Adam Cole, baby, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, taking on FTR, Dex Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, and the TNT champion, Daniel Garcia. And while this was definitely more entertaining than not, there was some weirdness in this match that I couldn't really shake. Like, I don't know if it was Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia that really didn't have that much chemistry, or if it was, maybe it was FTR and, actually FTR and Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong did really well. But this was just a very weird tag match, which finished with a Kyle O'Reilly roll-up on actually an Adam Cole roll-up on Garcia to pick up the win. Post-match, everyone's lined up in the ring. They shake hands. But then Kyle initially rejects it. Looks like they're about to fight, but then everyone just backs everyone off. Then we see Claudio Castagnoli. He's looking for Adam Copeland in the back. Adam Copeland then jumps Claudio from behind. They brawl to the arena, including Copeland fighting like a steel pipe and using that. Gets him into the ring, but then Wheeler Yuta comes out, tries to save the day with some chair shots. Yuta and Claudio have Copeland set up for the concerto, but making the save is Jay White, who distracts the Death Rider members long enough for Copeland to get up, hit a spear on both of them. Then Marina Shafir gets in, jumps on Copeland's back, has him in a sleeper hold. Wheeler Yuta attempts the Busaiku knee. Copeland moves, so Wheeler Yuta hits Shafir. Then Jay White is in, hits a Blade Runner. Copeland with some chair shots to both of them. He lays down a chair. Copeland on Claudio on top. Concerto. So then at that point, you have Jon Moxley trying to get in through the crowd, but Jay White is blocking him off. Then Copeland puts Marina Shafir on the chair. It looks like he's about to hit the concerto. Out comes Willow Nightingale, with her music, which is weird. She grabs the chair from Copeland. Concerto to Marina Shafir. Honestly, I feel like this is what the Death Rider story should have been since the beginning. Not saying I need to see the Death Riders be taken out every single week, but the guys fighting back just feel so insignificant. I don't know how to say it nicer. Like, I understand they wanted to elevate some new faces, but I think the bigger stars needed to step up. And I'm more than happy it's Cope. Anyway, next up is this very strange yet intriguing match as we have Harley Cameron taking on Deonna Purrazzo. And obviously Purrazzo, super worker, not going to say anything bad about her. Harley really keeps up in this match. Like, she takes what she's been learning and applies it here to perfection. This was a honestly great little match that ends after a Harley Cameron DDT to pick up the win. And that was a very fun, although short match. I do understand why. It was still very entertaining. And we'll see what happens with Harley from here. We then get a Takeshita versus Cassidy hype video. They're going to be our main event. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, we see Marina Shafir and Claudio Castagnoli being loaded into the ambulance that Cope left backstage. And as it goes away, camera pans out. We see Cope, Jay White, and Willow Nightingale standing at the entrance of the arena, just looking on. That's a great hero shot. I am honestly hyped for the Mox Copeland match at Revolution. More than likely, it's going to be an overbooked cluster, you know what, kind of like what we've been getting from the Bloodline Rules matches. But I am all for that. So I'm definitely hyped for that. And then we get to our main event, and it's for the AEW International title, as Konosuke Takeshita takes on Orange Cassidy. And first thing Takeshita does is he takes off Orange Cassidy's sunglasses, tosses them to ringside. Cassidy then fiddles around in his pocket, brings out a new pair of Suns, puts them on. It's Cassidy's funny. And then we're off to the races. Couple of stomps. After a little while, Takeshita takes off Cassidy's new glasses, hands them to Don Callis, who's sitting on commentary. So Callis is wearing Cassidy's sunglasses the entire time. And honestly, this is like human chess. This match was absolutely awesome. They countered each other's moves at pretty much every turn. One point, after a DDT attempt by Cassidy, Takeshita catches him, then hits a big old blue thunder bomb, only for a 2 count. Misses on, then Takeshita attempts the power drive knee, but then Cassidy just falls, rolls out of the ring. Takeshita brings him back in. Cassidy attempts a beach break, but that gets blocked into a big powerbomb attempt, but Cassidy blocks it. Then he takes them both over with a Rana. Callis then attempts to get up and go to help his man, Takeshita. Referee gets in his way. Takeshita attempts a pile driver, but that gets countered into a beach break on the announce desk. Cassidy brings him back in. Cassidy with a big old orange punch, but then Takeshita rolls to the outside. Cassidy with a dive, which ends up in a big old DDT on the outside. Then Cassidy goes over to the announce table, grabs his glasses from Callis, puts them on, goes back in, attempts a crossbody that gets caught by Takeshita, hits a couple of knees. Then Cassidy with a stun dog millionaire attempts an orange punch. Takeshita catches it. Like, legitimately catches it. Hits a pile driver. Cassidy gets up, attempts another orange punch, which Takeshita ducks. Then Takeshita with a raging fire elbow to pick up the win. And now Takeshita going on to Revolution to face Kenny Omega. Oh, that match is going to rule. Honestly, AEW Dynamite has been really, really good lately. The storylines are making sense. The actions of the superstars are finally coming together. And honestly, I'll even say this. The Death Riders stuff is definitely going somewhere. So, we'll see what happens in the near future. Revolution is only like a couple of days away. So, hopefully you guys check that out. It should be a fun one. And then we finish with WWE SmackDown. The go home to Elimination Chamber, which I'm going to be covering tomorrow. Stay tuned for that one. And then we start SmackDown with a recap of the confrontation of The Rock and Cody Rhodes from last week, where Rock asked Cody Rhodes to surrender his soul to him, which, honestly, no matter how you say that, it doesn't come across as less creepy. So, we'll see what happens. Then we see Cody Rhodes. He's walking backstage in the arena. Then he gets intercepted by two... I'm not even sure they're road agents, so I'm just going to call them extras. Where one of them says, "Come here, Mr. Rhodes. Your locker room awaits." Cody then says, "My locker room?" Then the same guy says, "Courtesy of the final boss." So, yeah, we're going to see that a little later. So this is a night-long storyline. We kind of get the thought... A little later on, we'll get the thoughts of Cody Rhodes' offer from The Rock. But first, we get a little local celebrity, as we have a Trish Stratus promo. Always good to see Trish Stratus. I'm always down. She gets a big cheer. She gets a big "Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Trish" chant from the Toronto crowd. Then she kind of jokes, "It's the jersey, isn't it?" She's wearing a Maple Leafs jersey that has her name and number on it. Then she says, "Want to say thank you for the glorious introduction from our announcer." So, what year is this? The Rock is back. Trish is back. And no better place than here in Toronto. And you want to know what I love about wrestling? The generational impact it has on everybody. And tomorrow, when I wrestle at the former Rogers Center, it'll be for the very first time that my kids are going to see me. Trish has kids. Who would have known? She continues, "I'm going to mix it up with the next generation, and that is incredible to me. I am beyond too excited to team up with my partner, Tiffany Stratton, tomorrow night. Women's champion comes out." She asks, "What time, Toronto? What time is it?" "It's Trishy and Tiffy time." I'm going to admit that came out a little awkward. I understand where she's going with that. But, you know, it's definitely a very weird one. Then Trish and Tiffany start talking about, you know, giving back, showing some love to the crowd. They then take off their custom Maple Leafs jersey and then just toss it into the crowd, which I miss seeing wrestlers do that. That's always kind of cool. Then it's revealed that Trish and Tiffany have been training together. They've been bonding. And it's no doubt that we're going to have ourselves a win tomorrow. And they are interrupted not by their opponents tomorrow, but by the Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who is all dressed up like the Mountie from back in the day, which is, she looks great. So Green has a microphone. She says, "Ugh, what a bunch of losers. Nobody wants you two hogging all the airtime. I'm the current U.S. Women's Champion. I'm the best thing to step foot in the arena tonight. And Trishy, the minute I left, everything was better for me. I'm honored to represent the people of America." Tiffany then replies, "I'm from America. You don't represent me. Why don't we leave it to the real champions and show you are actually the winner you say you are?" And we have a match here tonight. Green is like, oh no, I have plans tonight. I'm ready to go. Trish then says, oh, Tiffany, what a great idea. And if Nick Aldis thinks this is a great idea, he should send out a ref. And then Green turns around and says, Aldis, don't you do it. Don't do it. Then a ref comes out. You can see Chelsea Green is just deflated. So this leads us to a champion versus champion match. Now, initially, Green had a mystery opponent set up for this week, but apparently some changes had to be made to the card. So I'm guessing this is one of the changes that were made. So we're getting Chelsea Green, the Women's United States Champion, taking on the Women's WWE Champion, Tiffany Stratton. And these two definitely have some interesting chemistry together. Although, at one point, we see Chelsea Green hit a little bit of an awkward Rough Rider for only a 2 count. She attempts an Unpretty Her, but Tiffany pushes her off. Then Tiffany with a rolling senton, which is awesome, into a big stomp. She attempts the prettiest moonsault ever, but Piper Niven drags Green to the outside. Trish then takes out Piper Niven. Then Tiffany Stratton, who is back on the top, hits a big crossbody to the outside to take out everyone. She gets Green back in the ring, attempts the prettiest moonsault ever again. Then Nia Jax and Candice LeRae come out, attack Trish Stratus and Tiffany. So the match is thrown out. I'm guessing Green and Niven scurry to the back. We do see Tiffany fight back for a little bit, but Nia Jax cuts her off. Nia attempts an Annihilator, but Trish drags Tiffany out of the ring. Then Tiffany attempts a prettiest moonsault ever on Candice. Then Nia saves Candice LeRae. So, a little bit of an awkward matchup. I'm not a super fan of how the match ended. I understand wanting to protect your champions, but it's kind of overdoing it a little bit. Then we see Nick Aldis announce a one-night tournament for the United States title. It was shown earlier in the night. Nakamura, one of Nakamura's friends from New Japan passed away. So I understand why Nakamura wasn't there. Completely understandable. So we get this tournament. Next we see Solo Sikoa. He's walking in the back. Runs into his boys Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Where we hear Fatu say, what happened last week was a complete and utter accident. Solo says, sure it was. So tonight I have a shot in this US title tournament. And tonight this family needs to make a statement. And I'm doing this to show how much I love you, Jacob. So it's revealed Solo gives up his spot to Jacob Fatu. Now Fatu doesn't say anything, just walks off. So next segment we see Cody Rhodes. He's in his locker room. And it's like buffet style food. You got sushi, you got mini finger sandwiches, you got all kinds of other foods. The back wall is covered in wine bottles. And then we hear from behind Cody saying, hey, you're enjoying yourself? It's revealed R-Truth has been there. Is in there. So that's kind of funny. He then gets up off the couch, says, "You got everything in here." Cody then asks, "What are you doing in here?" Truth then says, "You considering selling your soul? Remember, Rocky's the soul man. You gonna keep all this food all to yourself? Don't be shellfish." Then Cody's like, "Yeah, go ahead, help yourself." With a little kind of goofy smile on his face. And you see Truth just kind of fill up his plate double than what it should be. Again, Truth is just such a national treasure. So next up is our first match in the United States title tournament, as we have Andrade taking on Jacob Fatu. Now, initially this was supposed to be Solo, but Solo gives up his spot to Jacob. And at first Andrade has Jacob on the ropes, but eventually after a big old Samoan drop, Jacob gets back into it, goes for the Impaler DDT. Andrade attempts a DDT. That gets blocked into a backdrop, a senton, hip attack, Impaler DDT, and then the moonsault to pick up the win for Jacob. This was definitely an interesting dynamic for a matchup. I do wish they were given a teeny tiny bit more time, because it definitely felt like they were kind of stuck in second gear. Then we see recap of the tag team title match from last week, where everyone got into a brawl. Then we see the Street Profits backstage. They're talking with Nick Aldis, with Ford saying, "Look, we've been taken out for months now. Now we're back, and we're ready for the titles we were screwed out of." Legado del Fantasma then walks in with Santos Escobar saying, "I'm glad you guys are back. Now you can apologize for my guys for falsely accusing them of attacking you." Dawkins then says, "Nah, we aren't apologizing for nothing. You guys have your matches set, so let's get this going." So next up, we were supposed to get the Street Profits versus Los Garza. But before the Street Profits could make it to the ring, DIY attacked the Street Profits on the ramp. Garzas get involved. DIY fights them off. Profits then get back in the ring. They fight for a little bit. Then Pretty Deadly come out. They brawl with the Profits and everyone else. Tommaso Ciampa hits a fairy tale ending. Then that brings out the Motor City Machine Guns. And then it's just a big old pull-apart brawl, with security coming out. Initially not really doing anything, but eventually they get everyone separated. Keep them separated. So, yeah, that was a very interesting. While we've seen brawls like this all the time in WWE, I am glad the tag division is now getting a bit more of the spotlight. Is it the most interesting thing in the world? Obviously not. But I'm glad they're getting something. Next, we see Drew McIntyre. He's walking in the back, runs into Cody Rhodes, with Drew saying to Cody, "Look, I know you got a lot on your mind. You got a big decision to make. We were so low on the card not long ago, but look at us now. Main eventers in our own right." Now, I don't know what he's going to do at Elimination Chamber, But when he finds out you sold your soul a long time ago, he's going to be in for a big surprise. Drew then walks off. Cody then kind of gets a little smirk on his face. Could we be seeing a Drew-Cody alliance? Which I could see kind of happening. Then we get a WWE/UFC announcement that they're going to be returning to Perth, Australia. So that could be kind of fun. Now, here's where things get a little interesting. WWE started playing the John Cena hype video from when he put himself into the Elimination Chamber after he lost the Royal Rumble. Then it gets to a certain point. You hear an extra voice saying, no, we're not doing this. We cut back to the arena. We see Drew McIntyre has a microphone, in which I think, finally, we're getting some dirt on John Cena. So Drew's like, enough of this. John, you either die the hero, or you live long enough to become the hypocrite, which is bringing Batman into this. That's funny. Drew continues, I remember after the Rumble, Cena put himself into the chamber, and then he said everyone has 7 weeks to talk smack, and no one has said anything besides Punk this past week. Well, now I'm going to say something about John Cena. And I can't help but wonder what past Cena would say about his current Cena. It's probably going to be a poopy joke, talk about going to Hollywood. John, I used to be scared of you, but not anymore. I'm the monster you created, and at the chamber, I'm going to bury you. And I was screwed the entirety of 2024. And before you can get some more out comes Damian Priest, who says, Drew, that's enough. All you do is complain, but I see right through you. Drew then replies, all I do is tell the truth. Damian then says, truth is, you're upset about your position in the company. You were upset when I cashed in on you. And when you tried to cash in your Money in the Bank, you failed because of your obsession with Punk. Well, the goal for me is to win, and I'm going to take pride in eliminating you. And thanks to your obsession, I dropped your ass in this very building. And I can do it again. So Drew stands up off the announce table and says, okay, looks like he's about to get in the ring. But out comes Seth Rollins. He gets in the ring, says, sorry boys, I gotta get this in. Look at us. Back together again. So I had to come join in. And Drew, I got some very specific memories of that Money in the Bank. If it wasn't for that officiating and that worst cash in ever, I wouldn't have won. But I'm not here to talk about the past. And I got some news for you two. I'm not the same Seth Rollins from last year. I'm 100% healthy. And you guys don't stand a chance. Then out comes CM Punk. And he pretty much runs down everybody. Calls Seth Rollins an oven mitt because of his outfit he's wearing. Priest, I got no issue with you. But you, Drew, you'll be nothing but collateral damage. You're obsessed with my spot at WrestleMania. I'm going to beat you all tomorrow. Now the question is, would I sell my soul? Drew, you prayed for my demise, but I snatched your soul in Hell in a Cell. So tomorrow you're all going to be dealing with Hell in a Cell, Punk. And I wouldn't hold it against you for not showing up. But it's not about you, it's about me. You will not be the main event. This is Seth now. You will not be the main event of WrestleMania. Then Priest chimes in, I beat you for your title. You're overdue an injury. Punk then says, I beat you for profit. Tomorrow I'm going to do it for fun. It's over for you. Seth then says, it's over for you, Punk. And before anyone else could say anything, John Cena's music hits. Everyone's hyped. Everyone's ready. Thinking it's Cena finally showing up on TV. Out comes Logan Paul. To some of the biggest boos I've ever heard. And Paul saying, what happened? You thought it was Cena? Cena doesn't care about you. Because you all can't see him. But you can see me right now. So he kind of goes to the ring a little bit, says, you can tell Cena doesn't show up. Where's Punk? No, I'm going to start with someone else. Seth, the peacock of the WWE, great wrestler, but you dressed like you lost a bet. Drew, congratulations, you're right at home, where you can't win these days, and neither can the Maple Leafs. Priest, I don't know you that well, but I know you used to be champ. But having Priest standing there, I remain the answer to your prayers. Then he goes back to Punk saying, I wish I can see you. Punk then replies, you're so stupid. Come here and look. Then Logan comes to the ring. I'm going to come show you. Then Punk runs up the ramp, runs Logan Paul off to end the segment. Definitely a bit of an awkward segment for this. To hype up the Elimination Chamber. I don't know if this was really needed. I don't know. Then we see some earlier footage of the Elimination Chamber kickoff, where some of the participants in the match end up brawling with one another. Conspicuous by her absence, Alexa Bliss. Get to that a little later. But first, it's match 2 of 3 in the United States title tournament as LA Knight takes on Santos Escobar in a decent little matchup. Where we see Santos doing more high-flying stuff, while Knight is more on the ground. Knight at one point attempts a BFT that gets blocked. Santos attempts a big splash that misses. Santos takes advantage with a drop toe hold into the turnbuckle. Attempts a superplex that gets blocked. Santos then gets back up, hits a top rope Hurricane Rana for a 2 count. Santos attempts a crossbody that gets caught right into a BFT for LA Knight to move on and pick up the win. So that was a very interesting little matchup. Then we get a promo from Sami Zayn saying, Kevin, what you and I have been through has been an understatement. You've been doing a lot of running and hiding. I know you're here tonight. I got something I want to say. If you got something you want to say, come say it. not just out of respect for what we've been through, we'll say our final words, because after tomorrow, there will be nothing more to say. So then, Kevin Owens' music doesn't hit, but it turns out he's down at the Sky Dome and the Elimination Chamber arena. And he says, reason I'm not there tonight, I need you healthy enough for tomorrow. We've had a lot of fights in our careers, but nothing like this. This is our biggest fight to date. But you saying I'm a bad guy, everything that's happened is your fault. And after tomorrow, I'm ending your career. And after that, I'm not doing anything for your family. And this is all your fault. So then we cut back to the arena. SmackDown's in. Sammy says, I know it's not the tough guy thing to admit when you're nervous, but I'm nervous. Not for what I'm going to do to you, what you're going to do to me, but for what I'm going to do to you. And while your family may not forgive me for what I do, I can live with that. I'm prepared to end this tomorrow and end you. So then we cut back to Kevin Owens, who says, there's only one more thing left to say. See you tomorrow night. That ends the segment. Nice, short, sweet, to the point. I'm going to be so sad when this Kevin Owens Sami Zayn feud ends, because it is honestly what both of them really needed. Especially after Kevin Owens' recent loss to Cody Rhodes. Anyway, then we see MJF and Carmelo Hayes in the back, and they're celebrating their tag win. Hayes says, nah, I still don't love the name. Melo don't miss. Miz then says, go out there, do what I taught you. Hayes then says, no. So, Hayes still kind of on the outs with the team. He's going to be out there on his own against, well, we'll see in a minute. Then Miz reacts like, oh, look who it is. Cody Rhodes walks in. Miz asks, how are you? What are you going to do? Cody answers, I don't know. Miz then replies, look, Rocky runs Hollywood right now. You want to be a failed TV show, or do you want to be something more? You're at the top of our industry right now, but you know there's so much more out there. And the only way to get it is to accept the offer. Because if you don't, someone else will. Miz laying that groundwork. That'll be tomorrow. Then we get this weird Carmelo Hayes hype video. Like we haven't seen him for the past couple weeks. Then we get into Braun Strowman versus Carmelo Hayes, which started out really entertainingly. He's using more of his speed over Strowman's power. Then we see Tama Tonga come out. He distracts the ref. Solo Sikoa grabs a chair, hits Strowman with it, but Strowman no-sells it. Pretty much just pushes Solo out of the ring. Tama Tonga then attacks Strowman. Strowman then just tosses him over the table. Strowman gets back in the ring. Carmelo Hayes then tosses him a chair and just flops like he got shot. Ref sees Strowman holding the chair, Carmelo Hayes on the ground. So, match is called. Your winner, Carmelo Hayes, moving on to the triple threat later on in the night. And then post-match, Strowman just annihilates Tama Tonga. I'm kind of annoyed at how this match ended. But I do understand trying to push Carmelo Hayes. Then we see Naomi, Bianca, and Bayley in the back. They're hyping each other up for the Chamber, for not just the tag match coming up, but for the Chamber tomorrow evening. We'll get to that match first, as we see a 6-woman tag team match play as Roxanne Perez teams up with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day, taking on Bayley, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. And this match, I'm glad they gave a ton of time to. Everyone looked great. But after a Popped Rocks, your winners are Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, and Roxanne Perez. And as the heels are celebrating, we see Alexa Bliss come out, and she hits the Abigail DDT on Perez. And then we see the Wyatt 6 screen glitch. So, definitely something big about to happen with the Wyatt 6 for WrestleMania. We then have a interesting Charlotte Flair interview saying, what do I think? While the Trish and Tiffany Stratton team up is cute, Tiffany has bigger problems to deal with. She's got no help around that rainbow. The time is almost here, and I'll see her at WrestleMania 41. We then get an Elimination Chamber card rundown, and then a Shinsuke Nakamura vignette pretty much saying, whoever's going to win this tournament is going to feel my wrath. We then get to the finals of the tournament, and it's a triple threat match between Jacob Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight. And honestly, all three of these guys had some great chemistry together. It was so good. Really good back and forth between them. One point, near the end, we have Jacob doing his hip attack, Impaler hitting the moonsault, but as Jacob is going for the pin, Knight drags Fatu out of the ring, gets in himself, covers Carmelo Hayes to win the match. And honestly, I thought that was a pretty interesting way to end this. I know LA Knight was initially the number one contender, but with this little pivot, I'm okay with. So, I thought it was a very fun matchup. And hopefully we see Jacob Fatu doing something a bit more significant very, very soon. Then we have Cody Rhodes. He's on his way to the ring. He runs into CM Punk. Punk then asks, he wants your soul? What's with that? Cody, you're on top of the world. Young me would have taken this deal, no issue. But I have no love for Dwayne. If you take it, I say you take that offer, shine it up real good, and stick it up his ass. A play on The Rock's famous catchphrase. Punk then continues, but you do you. I'm going to win the Chamber. I'll see you at WrestleMania. So then we go to the ring, and it's an in-ring interview with Michael Cole, who is reading him the riot act. Like, Cole is like, oh, how could you even consider this deal? Blah, 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 blah. Then Michael Cole reveals, well, The Rock has sent you a gift to help you with your decision. And we see a custom Dodge Ram with Cody Rhodes decals all over it. Probably the cheapest looking present I've ever seen. So Cody Rhodes drops the microphone, goes down to inspect the truck. Then we see The Rock on the video board. He is on a tarmac, which is very, very Rock these days. So he's saying, Cody, SmackDown, The Rock is coming. It's going to be a big night tomorrow night. Cody makes his decision of a lifetime. And I know you're going to do the right thing. I hope you enjoy the truck. I know you love driving on the dangerous roads. And also on the dusty roads. Oh. And I've been communing with your dad all week. And it shows you've been going to do the right thing. The Rock is coffee to make the dreams come true. I have no idea what that means. You're all going to be waiting for my music to hit. We'll embrace. And you'll give me your soul. I'm going to make your dreams come true. With one decision and you become my champion. I have another gift for you. So The Rock reveals a weight belt. Written on it is Cody's soul and the date Dusty Rhodes passed away. In which Rock points it out. Cody, don't you break my heart again. I'll see you in Toronto. So then we see him board his private jet. And that ends SmackDown. So, I'm going to say this. This might be a little controversial. I don't think The Rock has really added anything to the hype of WrestleMania season. And it kind of feels like he's trying to do what he failed to do last year by inserting himself into the hype. If that makes any sense. But we got a doozy coming tomorrow, though. I'll tell you that much. So SmackDown this week was better than it's been, but it was only really okay. Like, was I entertained? Sure, obviously. But I feel like we could have gotten more out of the matches than what we got, so that we can just fit a half hour of Rock promo. Something needs to change. We need a pivot somewhere. Although we're getting something kind of big. For Elimination Chamber. Just you wait. So, yeah, that'll do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. Coming Friday is going to be my review for this week in wrestling. Although it's just going to be Power and Dynamite. Because I am actually going to the movies later tonight. So I'm going to be missing a pretty good chunk of Raw. So hopefully you guys understand. And then maybe a little bit later on this week as well, I'm going to give you my thoughts for the card for WrestleMania this year. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.